Hello. Live stream. My name's Olson, and I like to sculpt stylized characters. So if this is your first time watching me, welcome. And I do this every week at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So this week I want to model a new character. This is another one by my good friend Josh Black. Hey, how you guys doing? What's up, Mark? What's up, Neil? Welcome. I need to share my stream. So Facebook doesn't automatically share, so I have to go quickly share this. Share. Okay. How are you all doing today? Hey, what's up, Brad? So, yeah, Josh likes to, he just likes to sketch stuff all the time. And he's one of my favorite artists. Hello? Somebody's knocking on my door. I don't know. Anyway. So, he just likes to sketch stuff, and he sketches really nice characters, really great character designs, and they're fun to sculpt. And I've sculpted several of his designs in the past. And I'm looking forward to sculpting this one because it has some really cool planes and great shapes. So, yeah. And also, just to start things out, if you're interested in learning how to sculpt stylized characters, I do an online course. It's called the 3D Character Workshop. It's right here above my head. You can just go to 3dcharacterworkshop.com to learn more. And I give away my user interface and these brushes down here that you see. These are all the brushes that I use to create these characters. So if you're interested, yeah, hop on over. I give those away for free. Okay, so let's get rocking on this guy, as I normally do. Thanks, Neil. Hey, what's up, Josh? How's it going? All right. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, so this guy's got a very square head and a sloped forehead. I just noticed, I don't know why I didn't notice before, but up there you can see it says ZBrush 2021. I gotta change that. Oh man. I just saw it when I was starting and I was like, oh, I gotta change that, but it was too late. Time to stream. Does ZBrush pay you guys to stream? They do not. Volunteer. I'm happy to. I'm coming up on my, Neil, what episode is this? Do you know? Kind of want to see when my 200th episode is going to be. Hey, what's up, Craig? Thanks, Neil. Oh, Stina, welcome. Glad you could catch me live. I really appreciate it. I love this guy's face shapes. Really fun. Hey, what's up, Blitz? How's it going? The YouTube playlist is 100. So next week is my 200th episode. Oh my goodness. I should probably do something fancy. All right, let's see here. Oh, really, Lucas? Yeah, you're probably right. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I don't know why. I'm just not. I just stream, you know. do my thing. Have I loaded my materials yet? No. Okay, well, I'm gonna go get one. Let's see, and you guys can't see my folders, weird. Okay. Let's go get it. I'm just gonna go get my ZBrush. All right, where are we? Program files. Oops. I have too much stuff on my computer, obviously. The startup and materials. Sorry. Give me 1 second, almost there. There we go. Okay. So I like this ZBrush gray because it shows the surface better. Yeah, ZBrush's materials, fantastic. So there's this ZBrush gray. There's, here, let me load another one. This, I like this ZBrush terracotta too. It's like terracotta clay. Yeah, I could, but I just need to move the materials over from 2021 to 2022. That's all. Yeah, I could always do a link to it for sure. It's not a bad idea. And then there's this modeling clay one that I like a lot. It's kind of like the ZBrush gray one, but it has a little greenish, green-gray hue to it that I like a lot. Are there any commonalities between different stylized characters, landmarks? Oh yeah, they all follow traditional anatomy. It's just exaggerated and simplified anatomy. That's all stylized is. Exaggerated and simplified. And I can give you one tip today, and that is what was I going to say? I totally just lost. I was thinking about this brow ridge line, and I was going to say, it'll come to me. Hold on. I was right in the middle of something, and I'm like, my thought train just derailed. Oh my gosh. Fanny Pack Thursday. I love that. I love that name. It's funny. Oh my gosh. What was I going to say? That's going to haunt me. Oh, that was it. Okay. So one tip I was going to tell you is, if you're a beginner artist or even an accomplished artist, whatever, a good tip I can give to you is concept is king. So there's two. Concept is king. Don't put in anatomy if there's no anatomy there. Okay. So it's kind of like when you ask a kid to draw a house and they draw in icons, you know, like or an eye, tell them to draw an eye, and they just draw, you know, a regular almond shaped, just an icon of an eye, not really looking at reference and drawing what they see. And it's the same with a concept. If you have a concept like this, you want to put something in that you know, and there's kind of this gray area, right? Because you want to use your knowledge of anatomy to enhance the concept, but at the same time, you don't want to overcomplicate the concept and take away from the design. Okay? And it's funny, I say that because I see it constantly. I see students put in things that just aren't there. I mean, they're there in anatomy, but they're not there in the concept. So then they're just like, why doesn't my sculpt look like the concept? And it's because they added stuff that's not there. Steel 2. Why is this so dang? There we go. Z intensity is like really crazy today. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Tolkfan, if that's the case, then you turn to your experience and your expertise and make it feel like the concept. If you can't match it exactly, do the best you can to make the character feel like that character. That's a hard one to explain. But that's how I explain it. Hey, from Korea, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Hold on one second. Okay. From Belgium. I have a friend from Belgium. He's a phenomenal sculptor, Martin. Hey, Ingrid, how you doing? So what are you guys up to today? Turn down the Z intensity. Attempting to sculpt something. That's good. Attempting to sculpt is better than not attempting to sculpt. Oh, sweet, Brad. That's awesome. Got some cool ears. Yeah, Arcane was fantastic. I loved it. I like this guy's, the shape of his ears because the lower part of his ear sticks out further than the upper side. Pretty cool. Hey, Lulu, how you doing? Let's see, yeah. I block out my characters in strange ways, I'm finding out. I see a lot of other artists, they start with a sphere and they dig the eyes out, and that sounds horrible, but yeah, they don't block it out like I do, which is interesting to me. Like a horror, yeah, dig the eyes out. Is that local symmetry? Yes. Okay. Now it messed the neck up. Gosh, I can't win. Sorry, I'm just fixing the symmetry here. There we go. All right. Ooh, skadoosh. So if that ever happens, the best way I've found to fix it is just duplicate the subtool, and that tends to fix it. Do you ever do stylized versions of real people directly from photo reference? Yes, I do. If so, what's the workflow for that? Same workflow, but it takes a bit more of your design efforts. Like you have to kind of become the designer, and you have to figure out how to simplify and exaggerate and become a caricature artist of sorts. So yeah, it's possible. Let's see here. Time to sleep. All right, good night. I'm saving this. All right. Like how big his bulky his body is. Yeah. Oh, that's so, I still laugh at that. I think I was just like, sometimes I'll just like sing to myself when I'm thinking. Hey, what's up, Peter? Thanks, man. And during one of my, I don't know if it was a live stream or something for my students, but I was like exhaling and I'm like, no, 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 you know, something like that. And one of my students pointed it out and thought I was saying like whispering banana or something like that. Oh, pretty funny. Give this guy really big shoulders. I love this, this move infinite is really nice. I like it a lot. Because I can turn to the side and grab like the front of the shirt, and I know it's moving all the way through the entire thing. Both sides, all the way, so it's not going to leave dents or whatever in the front. Really nice to be able to do that. Just just want to blend this neck in a little bit more. Hey Neil, I gotta say, man, I'm pretty impressed with the changes you made to your latest character. He looks great. Is there any way to convert an OBJ file to an FBX? I have ZBrush Core subscription, sadly. I handled. Not with ZBrush Core that I know of. Maybe I don't use ZBrush Core too often, so I wish I had the answer to that. But you can import an OBJ into ZBrush, and it will bring the poly paint data, like the vertex coloring data, and then you can export out as an FBX in ZBrush. But it's so if you have, and I can't remember if ZBrush Core has this, but if you have a load tool, or not a load tool, import right here, this is how you bring in an OBJ right here. But you have to have an object, otherwise, because whatever you import is going to replace whatever object you have. So what I usually do is I hit append, and I grab this star, and then I click on the star itself. So this big star here is just a placeholder object. And then you can go import, and then you can go grab an OBJ, whatever it is, and it will replace this star with the object. And then the FBX exporter is a plugin. So you go over to this, and I don't believe that ZBrush Core has plugins, to my knowledge. It might, but you would do it right here. And I've had the best success with FBX 2014. It's an older version, but yeah, just it's been working fine for me. And then you just hit export, and you can do all your settings right here. That's how you do it. So yes, ZBrush, the full version of ZBrush can do that, but I don't know about ZBrush Core. Yeah, Neil, I love that character design, and I believe you captured it really well. So, you know, after making the adjustments, and I do have to say, even the hands are great. So I know you struggle with hands so much, and I've been trying to get you to think about it not as a hand. And you know, if you ever, it goes back to the icon thing, right? If you think about, you know, you ask a kid to draw an eye and they draw an icon, but if my daughter and my son they both have a drawing class in their online school, and they just went through an assignment where they had to draw a drawing, like copy it, but the exercise was to flip it upside down. So then what they were looking at is no longer what they were looking at. They're just looking at the drawing for the sake of lines on the paper, not that it's a guy sitting in a chair, right? And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on, I can't model hands, or I can't model insert whatever here. If that's troubling you, just turn your concept upside down and turn your model upside down. That's totally, see, and now all of a sudden you're just looking at shapes instead of, I can't model a face. You know what I mean? So, because a lot of the skill from an artist comes from his or her ability to see. Like, can you see and interpret that design and then bring it into the 3D world? So anyway, a little bit of tidbit for you. Again, if you think about them not as hands, but as shapes. And I would reword that to say, I need to work on my shape interpretation better. You know what I mean? Okay. I think this guy could use a Z remeshing. Save it first. Okay, let's apply this. Yeah, I think it comes from the book Drawing on the Right Side of Your Brain. I think that's where the exercise comes from. You can easily say sculpting on the right side of your brain. Okay, let's see. I don't usually use Easy Remesher plugin for this, but I'm going to try it here. See what it does. Blanket party. Need a little help. Why is my imported alpha not functioning when used as a brush texture for spotlight projection? Works fine as brush alpha. Let's see. Yeah, I don't typically use alphas for my brushes very often, so I'm not very knowledgeable in that department. But to use as a brush texture for spotlight projection, just make sure your spotlight projection is turned on if you want to actually use it as a projection onto your model. If it's not working at all, that could probably be the reason why. So check that. The reason I pulled this up is because you can find that in brush samples spotlight projection. So that means brush samples, and it's right here, spotlight projection. I usually have it turned off by default because I use spotlight for reference for my reference images, and I have to turn that ability off when I use it for reference. So yours might be off, and then that's why you can't use it as an actual projection. So check that out first. But as far as the alpha goes on the brush, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Where can we learn Topology? I would say, gosh, I would say William Vaughn on Gumroad. And Brian Tyndall, if it's specifically for faces, well, they do other things as well. Brian Tyndall, he either works at or he did work at Pixar, and he is like the topology master. And Sergi Caliber from Disney Feature Animation, and William Vaughn is just he has some great anatomy stuff. So I would look in those three places to those three people. Yeah, Blink, I wish I had an answer to that. You might be able to reach out to Pixelogic, so maybe do support at pixelogic.com, or if Michael Pavlovich or Paul Gabry are streaming at some point, I'm sure they would have the answer to that. Yeah, Danny Mac, he has some good ones too. Thanks. Okay, let's keep going on this guy. Let's give him some eyes. When you model for 3D printing, why do we need to fuse all the models before sending it to print? Will it generate an error? Yeah. So you have to make it watertight, and you have to get rid of all the interior geometry, all overlapping geometry, because if you don't, the printer won't know how to print it. It needs to be a shell. Otherwise, if it's like overlapping geometry, it will leave pockets on the interior of the object. And in resin printing, it's not good to have pockets at all, because uncured resin will collect in those pockets, and they'll never dry and they'll leak. So If you're using an extrusion printer with plastic filament, it matters a lot less. You can have pockets in those and it's just fine. But if it's a resin-based printer, then you want to get rid of all the pockets. But you do want to keep it watertight, even if it is a filament type. Otherwise, you could get some thin walls and errors and things like that. So it's really easy to do in ZBrush. What I usually like to do in order to do that is I use this plugin called Dynamesh Utility right here. I actually have a YouTube video on where to, is it, Neil, help me out here. I think I don't know if I talked about Dynamesh Utility in a video yet. I need to. I need to write that down. Okay, so anyway, Dynamesh Utility, you can just go do a search for ZBrush plugins, and this is a free one. It doesn't ship with ZBrush, but it's free, and all you have to do is combine all of your subtools together and then hit Dynamesh, and it does a fantastic job of cleaning it up. And then you run this decimation master, and it will simplify the geometry and make it a very small file that you can send off to the printer. Yeah, I highly recommend that. Oh, I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm telling Josh that I'm modeling his model right now. See if he'll drop by. I have not made one for YouTube yet. All right, I need to write that down. Okay. So what was I doing? Oh, eyeballs. All right. Eyeballs. Peepers. Jeepers creepers. I talked about it in one of my course videos. Sometimes I get those mixed up, you know. Is it better than Remesh by Union? Remesh by Union is used for different reasons. For 3D printing, Dynamesh is much better than Remesh by Union, yes. Because it gets all of the little bits and the details and all of that and just melds everything together really, really nicely. So that's basically what I use Dynamesh for these days, is to make my sculpts watertight for printing. Am I going to pose it? Usually I'll pose it not when I'm live streaming, and I render it not when I'm live streaming, typically. Sometimes I will if I have time, but a lot of times I don't. Okay, I'm gonna get a nostril. He's got some interesting nostrils, so I'm gonna give him, actually block them out. What is my tool to pose? I just use the move brush. I just squish it around. Which plugin? The Dynamesh Utility? It's Dynamesh Utility. This right here. And it used to be called Dynamesh Master, and now it's called Dynamesh Utility. Oh, thanks, Neil. Give him some nostrils here. He's got a really interesting nose. Very sharp. I think I have it a little too high now that I'm looking at it. No, so that's another tip I can give you is with blocking out characters, the whole reason for blocking out a character is to help you in the future. That's it. And so some characters I will choose to block out more shapes and some fewer shapes. And the whole idea is, again, to help you get to the next step, which is merging everything together and continue to sculpt. So whatever is going to help you in that regard, that's the shapes you should choose to use. Don't put in a whole bunch of shapes just to do it. That's not the reasoning you're blocking things out. I do in my course, Johnny. Yeah, I have a whole module on posing. And with the 3D Character Workshop 2.0 that just released not too long ago, I do have plans. I want to do I have it set up in weekly challenges, and I have 8 weekly challenges so far with plans to do more. And on one of those plans is to do a posing challenge for that week. It's not done yet, but it is. There are plans for it. Okay, so I think I'm ready to. I'm gonna give him some eyelids. He's got super prominent eyelids. So yeah, A-Cube. So Ashley blocks her characters out. The statement still holds true with her stuff because she's putting in all the bits that she needs to get that character to the next step, right? It's the same thing. And just because she's using more objects doesn't mean it's any more or less valid as far as how many objects she's using, right? So like if I wanted to, I could come in here and sculpt out like masses for the cheeks or masses for the sterno muscles, right? And you don't have to. If you don't feel like you need to, you shouldn't feel like you have to. Only use as many shapes as you need to get to the next step. That's the goal. Okay, so trying to decide how I want to do these eyelids. I think I'm going to do it this way. Pretty close. Local symmetry. There we go. I'm just making, use this for eyelids. Okay, so I think I'm going to tessimate everything and use, I'm going to do a different take. I really like to use this live stream to test things out, some techniques and things that I normally wouldn't do during production. So yeah, on this one, one of the things I'm thinking about for him is I want to merge everything, including these eyes, and then cut the eyelids out with Sculptris Pro while it's tessimated. So I'm going to see if that will work. Okay, so I'm going to put this. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I'm gonna using mask, but it took so much. So just so you know, when I worked on Disney Infinity, we posed every single character using this T-pose master right here with masking and hiding and all that stuff. We didn't use any tricks or rigs, or it's just you use hiding, showing, masking, and the transpose tool / gizmo. And because the gizmo wasn't around when we were posing those things, so it was the transpose tool. But we posed everything inside of ZBrush for all of those toys. So it's possible. Is it easy? It gets easier with experience. You get faster with experience, that kind of thing. So, okay. When was the last time you worked on a production project? I think I finished one up about a month ago. I can't say what it was, but I'm set to work on something new soon. I do very few things on the side, but I do like to stay busy in production. Okay, let's see. Let's remesh this. Well, yeah. I want to testimate it first. Nowadays, would you prefer to make a rig for that kind of project, or would you still prefer to pose them inside of ZBrush? So honestly, the answer to that is I would still prefer to pose, if it's just one single pose, I would still just prefer to pose it inside of ZBrush, because I know the tools well enough that I can do it quickly, because it takes a lot longer to rig, skin weight, and make sure everything looks good as it animates, you know, for like one pose. That's a lot of work to put in just to get one pose out of the character. That being said, if I need to make several different poses for the one character, then it warrants the extra work of going in and creating a rig, doing the skin weighting and all of that stuff to do several, or if it's going to move, you know, animation. That's the only, and also, I can pose a high resolution character inside of ZBrush, so I wouldn't have to go in and retopologize it, especially if it's for 3D printing. So there's no reason to go to, because it's very difficult to rig a high resolution character. So you'd have to go do retopology, possibly UVs, texture work, all that kind of stuff. It depends on the end goal. If I'm going to be doing 3D printing, then no, I'll just pose it in here. Okay. So let's see, that's Tessemated. I'm just going to stitch these together. Actually going to grow this. Oops. Want to make sure that's on. And I can delete this. What are my top 3 brushes? Well, not to sound like a jerk, but the move brush, and then the move brush, and then the move brush. Because I almost want to do a challenge to see if I could model a character besides, you know, bringing in different meshes, but I wonder if I could model a character with only using the move brush. But honestly, after that, it would be the pinch brush. I'm trying to think. I don't really count the selection and masking as brushes. And these are just different kinds of move brushes. And I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I guess smoothing brush. Not even, I don't use clay. You can see it's not on my list. These are the brushes that I use right here for all my characters. I mean, sometimes I'll use the clay build-up brush, but not too often. H-polish, I mean, yeah. Thanks, comics. Okay, let's see. I think his eyes are too big. I'm gonna shrink those down while I still can. Any tips for posing non-spherical eyes since you can't just rotate them? Would you just repaint them into the pose position? No, again, not to sound like a jerk, but I just kind of grab them and move them and rotate them, whether they're spherical or not. I'll just put them into the position that I need them to be in. If they have painted eyes already, sometimes I'll repaint the eyes. It depends on if they're painted or not, you know. Let's see. Oh, sorry. I want to adjust these eyes before it gets before I stitch them together. Okay. Merge down. Oh, dang it. I forgot to decimate these eyes before I merged them down. Hold on. I got to split them off again. Split hidden. Okay. And then subdivide. Okay. Let's see if that works. There we go. That's better. Okay. Remesh by union. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix his throat, but not bad. Okay, so if you can see, I have eyes in there now. And this is all stitched together. So I can turn on Sculptris Pro. Test this, it's still too heavy. Okay. I think I'm gonna scale up everything. I was gonna do that before and forgot what I was doing. Yeah. Because Sculptris Pro works based off of the scene size, and I want to get smaller triangles. I use adaptive with my Sculptris Pro triangle size. Hey Tom, how's it going? I saw you in here earlier and I didn't say hello. How's it going? Let's see. I'm trying to track down a tip you gave a while back on getting better edges on extracted subtools. No, I'm not really sure what you mean, extracted subtools. Maybe explain a little bit better and maybe I can remember. Okay, this is going to be too small now. See that? Since I scaled him up, now it's making the triangles too small. So I need to pull this up. There we go. That's better. Maybe not that big. Okay, that works. Basically, I'm just blending everything together. Oops, and I didn't do symmetry. There we go. To pull this back a little bit more. if you mask off a part of one subtool and then subtool extract? I don't think I've ever used subtool extract. Are you talking about this? This extract is mask extract. So that's like when you have a mask on the surface, then you hit extract, it makes a new shape. See that? And then if you like the shape, you hit accept. And that's how, and then it'll put it into a new subtool. And then you can work with that. Is that what you're talking about? So, and this is just temporary. So if I rotate that and I don't like it, I can change the shape of it, hit extract. That's going to make a new shape. And then you can change the thickness and the smoothness and things like that. But that's how extract works. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. You have another opinion? It's possible to become a pro sculptor of monsters, or it's impossible and you need to learn how to sculpt everything? Well, yeah, if you can become a pro sculptor of whatever you'd like. And there's usually a need for, you know, whatever you want to do, typically. You just have to find the people that want sculptors that sculpt monsters, like McFarlane, for example, or, you know, there's a lot of them out there. Especially if you're going to do toys, or it depends on if you're doing, you know, for even TV shows, like, you know, like Game of Thrones, for example, you know. But do you just have to do you have to do something before you do that? No. Just do whatever you want to do and get better at it. It's a valid question. Now I can turn my Z intensity up to smooth it quicker and blend all these shapes together. Okay, need to work on this guy's nose. Hey, how's it going? Like Sahin. He's got such pointy nostrils. Hey, Pedro, thank you. Working on it. I guess the detail brush would be my third brush. All right, let's see if this works. There we go. What app am I using? This is ZBrush, full version. Sure, Kevin. What is that brush? This is my detail brush. It's kind of like the Damien standard brush, or Dam standard brush, if you've ever used that. This just has I tweaked a lot of the settings. I'm trying to decide if I like that or not. Because now the eyes are not good, looking good. I have to, again, use the move brush. It's not bad though. Switch materials so I can see what I'm doing. And I give these brushes away for free if you want to play with them yourself. Over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com, you can try them out. Seen some people make the eyelids a separate subtool. I've done that in the past as well. Would you do that depending on the circumstance, or is it a preference thing? Like I said, Sam, I like to experiment during my live streams. I like to try different techniques for different things because there are so many ways to build things, so many ways inside of ZBrush. So yeah, you can, so I just like to try different things, like I said. Could you please share the 3D Character Workshop pinch brush? I do. It's over on my website. Just go to 3dcharacterworkshop.com and scroll down and you can find it. It was a long time ago when you were a guest on the podcast. What podcast? So do you have any plans or invites? I guess I don't know what you're asking. Sorry. Not a huge fan of this. Thanks, Thorlin. Hey, Wilberth. Banana. Banana. How do people get selected for this live stream? It's up to the people at Pixelogic/Maxon. They're the ones who decide. And they ask me. I remember you on Overwatch and Disney Infinity Designer. Character Workshop. ZBrush podcast. Oh, the interview? Yeah, they did an interview with me one time. So yeah, I'm still just running the 3D Character Workshop. That's my the thing that I do. So if you're asking for any plans, I'm planning on expanding that. I'm making another product, if you'd call it a product. It's called the Acceleration Program, where I offer more mentoring than I do in my regular course, because I feel like the fastest way that someone can get better is by getting feedback from somebody who's been there. So I'm working on that, and I'm hoping to release that sometime soon. I have a few students in there so far, and they've been really enjoying it. Hey, Chris. Still going through 2.0 slowly but surely. Nice. Wilbert, I love your stuff, by the way. You do really nice work. When somebody comes in and they already have skills, that way, you know, they're already higher level in their skills. I always wonder if they learned something from the workshop or not. I hope so. They always tell me they do, but I guess you can learn something from anywhere. You're learning a lot of great techniques. Awesome. That's great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. This guy's nose is really challenging. Maybe if I get the mouth in there, it'll help. That's not what I want to do. Just keep working on these eyes. As you have your own page. This will be a stupid question. You release your course on Udemy? No, I will not. The reason why is because I have, it comes with two different student communities. One is a private Discord server and the other is a private forum. And so I manage both of those things, and I could never do that on something like Udemy. Plus, Udemy discounts their courses way too much. And I feel like it takes away from the creators of those courses that spent all their hard work and effort to make those. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Oh, hey, Brad. Yep, Brad's one of my test subjects, if you will. And he's improved so much. It's so fun watching you, Brad, how far you've come in such a short amount of time. This guy's... I like this eyelid technique, but it does... I feel like I'm managing a lot of warbles. Yeah, well, but they kind of go hand in hand, honestly. Like if you need extra feedback or you know, if you're going through the course and just like, I have a question on this thing, then that's what it's there for. Yeah, it is warbly. Very warbly. I want to get some more of this face structure in. Whoops. Am I visible? Tattoon, did you say something and I missed? You are visible. If you asked a question and I missed it, I apologize. Chat's moving quite quickly today. I'm trying to figure out what his lips are doing. They kind of look like they're going. Retopo, Mike, retopo will come later. Yeah, if I decide to retopo. It's great to see how you get through likeness challenges. Yeah. Sometimes I don't get through them. Okay, I think I'm just going to make him a normal mouth and then like push it up after. Let's see, I need more. That's why. Okay. Do I like retopo tools in ZBrush? Yeah, for certain things I certainly do. But I retopo a whole entire character in ZBrush? Usually not. If I'm gonna do a character for production, I'll usually take it to a program that's better suited for retopology. And that's just because of sheer speed. I need to be fast. Could you do it in ZBrush? Sure. Do you keep Sculptris Pro off in some of your brushes? Yeah, I do actually. I have it turned off on the pinch brush because then it would kind of counteract the pinching action, right? If it's trying to make new geometry while it's trying to pinch, then the pinch gets overridden and it doesn't work. So I turn it off for that. And it's on for like smooth. It's off for move, but on for snake hook. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. Maya, what are you asking about Maya? Do I retopologize in Maya? Is that what you're asking? Oh yeah, I do. I love the quad remesher in Maya. It works pretty well. I've used a lot. Kelvin, I haven't announced it yet. But eventually there will be an application process on my website that, because I need to make sure that it's the right fit for you, because it's more expensive, and I want to make sure that you're not wasting your money or your time, because I want people that have a certain level of skill before using that, getting into the acceleration program. It's not for beginners. It's for people that they're like right on the brink of becoming or getting work, or it's like going from good to great. That's the whole idea. What's the website? Right above me, 3D Character Workshop. So if you download the brushes, you'll get on my emailing list, and then you'll hear about the acceleration program. If you're a beginner, I recommend the course that I already have called the 3D Character Workshop. There's a lot of beginner stuff in there. I actually made a specific beginner thing it's like your very first day in ZBrush. I walk my friend Adam Manoa. He's a great illustrator. I walk him through his first day in ZBrush. Hey Matt, how you doing? How do you get it to look so smooth? Yeah, I continue to use the smoothing brush and Sculptris Pro, and I just keep going. So my surface really looks like this. And I'm just using pinch and going back and forth. Hey, Angry, I am taking a few more, right? Beta students right now. If you're interested, let me know. You can just send me an email or ping me in the forum or something like that. Have I talked to you about that before? I can't remember. Sorry. I think I did. Okay, let's adjust some things here. I'm really not liking those eyes yet. Got some stuff going on. That nose feels too wide. Okay. Thanks, Cakestar. I try, or Cakester, sorry. I try. I don't know how to be entertaining other than just yapping while I'm sculpting. Total Drama Island. Yeah, totally. I can't remember who designed those characters. Did Steven Silver? I don't know if any of you guys know who designed the characters on Total Drama Island. An interesting premise for a show. Like total fake reality, so fake that it's animated. Oh, Matt, did you get in on the streaming this weekend? That's cool. All right, I gotta give him some better lips. They're too flat on his face. Usually watch a replay of them after because I do my university work when you stream. Oh. Hey, Kasha, where do you sign up for the beta class? So it's not free. It's but if you are interested, it's just send me an email at shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com, and it's OLSON. Or you can send a message to support@3dcharacterworkshop.com. I answer those as well. So you can send me a message saying you want more info on that. Sure. No. After testimating Sculptris Pro, make details. Is there any step before retopology? Yes, but I mean, that's kind of, if you break it down to the most simplified linear explanation of it, I guess that's kind of the workflow. But the main thing you need to do is, I mean, you can see how much time I'm spending on trying to get the likeness to match the concept. That's where most of the work is spent. It's not a rush to hurry and get it retopologized. But I still have to make clothes and eyebrows and some hair on his face and things like that. Yeah, it's not. My old art director, he used to say art is messy. And that's such a good way of putting it. Art is messy. Okay, I want to go to smooth brush. Where are you, smooth brushes? There you are. Smooth stronger. And could I explain how to make lips? I actually have a lesson on exactly how to make a mouth inside of ZBrush using a specific method. But the easiest way I can say is to use reference. Find a bunch of reference that are like the lips that you're wanting to sculpt, and see how they're built. Because there's a lot to them. It's more than I can just kind of explain in a short session while I'm streaming, but let's see here. Basically, I cut out the center, like I pinch the center, and then I pull out the upper and lower lips. And one thing I can say is make sure your lower lip crease doesn't go all the way to the corners, and the upper one does. That's one tip I could tell you. Typically. It's too strong. Make it look so easy. What do I say? Because I've been doing this for like 23 years, not sculpting, but modeling, you know, like either box modeling or, so I have a lot of experience under my belt. And people say, well, that sculpt only took you 2 hours to do. And I'm like, yeah, 2 hours and 23 years, you know? So that's why it looks easy. It's not. Do you use replay last stroke? Occasionally, not very often. That's why I actually hotkey the menu. This is my custom menu, and I hotkey that to number 2 because I like to save number 1 for repeat last action. So I didn't want to override it for people who use that a lot. I use it occasionally, especially when I'm like, if I do a very specific stroke, like across the eyelash or something, and I want that stroke to be the same stroke but a little deeper, then I'll use that. But not too often. Do you sell these brushes? No, I give them away for free, actually. You can go get them over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Neil just put a link over on Twitch. But you can just scroll down half the page and grab them. Yeah, making stylized characters, in my opinion, it's a little more challenging than making realistic. Because I think realistic, I don't want to discount realistic characters because they are just as challenging in different ways. Because with stylized characters, you're trying to take reality and stylize it, which means exaggerate and simplify. But you have to know how to do that. You have to know how to exaggerate, how to simplify, how to keep the design, how to keep it clean. That kind of stuff. Are there more brushes that you can these nice sharp edges with? Hansarig, I'm not sure what you're asking me. I'm using pinch to get these edges. And you can also, whoops, I made this horn for some reason. That comes from a brush called Ma Cut. It's just a brush that I grabbed and tweaked and liked it a lot and did some different things to it. So it started as a Ma Cut brush. Yeah, it's my custom pinch brush. What's your opinion about hard surface in ZBrush? But without ZModeler, why? Well, ZModeler is basically, I mean, you can use stuff like the knife cut brush, the new knife cut brush, which works really well, but why, I guess my question is, why wouldn't you use ZModeler to do hard surface? Because that's kind of what it's there for. A little sharper. But I make props for my characters all the time, and I use ZModeler and the knife brush and all that stuff. What specs does my PC have? It's actually a little older. It's not anything special. It's an AMD 1700, I believe. And I have like 32 gigs of RAM is all, and then I have two 1080 GPUs, a little older, but they work pretty well. I got those for mainly playing games. How would you open that mouth if you want to rig it later? I would have built him a little bit differently if I was planning on opening his mouth. I wouldn't have cut it in like this. Usually I do make a mouth cavity, but today I wanted to try something a little bit different, so I did it this way. I would build the mouth cavity in as I went along. And if you watch some of my past streams, you can see I most often do build a mouth cavity. In this instance, I did not. Because I'm leaning more towards 3D printing, and with that, you don't need a mouth cavity, so. like a like Scarecrow or something. Oh, thanks, comics. Yeah, it's getting there slowly. I equate it to like focus or slowly focusing a camera. Like, you know, it starts out all blurry and then you just get more and more focused and focused and focused until finally you can start to see the character in there. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate this. Well, I should probably save it. And then duplicate. That nose still needs some work. A lot of stuff still needs work. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you gotta like sit back and like measure, look at the shapes and measure it, see where it's wrong. I can see where it's wrong a lot of places. Needs a better jawline, for example. And he needs eyebrows. Eyebrows will help a lot. But I want to bring the brows down a lot. And then slope his forehead back more. All right. Polish his forehead. Do I include rigging? I do not. I include taking the character to a game engine, but not rigging. That's a whole nother course. A whole other skill set. Soften up these planes. All right. What's the basic difference between polish and S polish? I don't know. I usually use the H polish brush or this regular brush here. And this is based off an SK brush. So, and I highly recommend you go grab SK's brushes. He's another streamer on here from Japan. He's awesome. Just really, really great sculptor. And he's got a set of brushes as well. So I would just say experiment. There's a whole bunch of different polish brushes and they do slightly different things. But the H polish is the one I use the most. And then this polish brush is used best for like final cleanup. It's very, very subtle, that one. Okay, I want to make this sharper. So sharp. maybe squared off end to match his chin just a little. I'm getting into 3D printing. I watched through the modules in the workshop. Nice, Daniel. That's cool. How's the new gig? Are you liking it? There's a specific lesson in the course where I talk about checking the density, checking for water tightness with Corinne Cook's model. So that's a good one to watch. Okay, I'm going to try something now. I might break things, but I'm going to try it anyway. Because it's funny. This guy has a really unique pushed up mouth. Like he's bored with whoever's talking to him. Like, are you seriously telling me this right now? Thanks, Max. Let's see. Okay, let's give him some brows. It's brow time. I say that and then I see something and then I want to move it. Okay, brows. So do you symmetry first, then asymmetry? Yes. Yeah, Neil, I know. I'm the same way. I'm your density. I mean, your destiny. Every time, dude. All right. You know, this one, I might try. Yeah, I'll just do whatever. I was gonna say, because eyebrows typically don't sit on the ridge all the way to the nose. They go underneath the ridge, like right here. And I was gonna try and do that, but sometimes it looks strange if it wraps up underneath there. I'm just gonna keep it on the top like I normally do. Yeah, something like that. All right, draw size 1. There we go. Split unmasked points. So they're still in there. They're just single-sided. So now I add dynamic thickness. Get rid of the creases. And then hit this post subdiv. Somebody starts with Z-sphere, somebody starts with polysphere. and move, but then you started with grouping quad mesher. I actually started with polyspheres and then moved it into position. But what I like to do is I like to tessellate it to get all the density like equal across parts. And then I use remesh by union to join all those parts together. I like to do that rather than Dynamesh, because Dynamesh tends to melt the mesh a little bit, like between the cracks and things. It doesn't give me what I specifically want. Okay, I'm gonna pop this up. Smoother. So I'm still adjusting just the single-sided mesh. That's why I love dynamic subdivision so much. Because see where these orange dots are actually showing me where the actual geometry is. I can just pull them forward a little bit off the surface. And I wish it would just start here and go forward, but it pushes it both directions. And then sometimes I'll use the ZModeler brush to just insert a loop to make it sharper. Not too sharp. That's a little too much. Kickstarter. I don't know about that. But I appreciate it. You know, I can actually remember thinking as a young kid, because my grandparents lived in Anaheim, and we would drive past the Disney animation studios. It was a big hat out front, and you could see it. And my grandma would always used to say, you should try and work there someday, you know. And I never really gave it much of a thought, because I always thought the animators, and I still do to this day, the animators that work at Disney Feature are just on a whole different level. And I've just thought in my head that it's not really achievable. You know, when you're a kid, you're just like, there's no way I could do that, you know. But there is. And I lucked out, and I ended up working for Disney for 10 years. Pretty crazy. I mean, not Disney Feature in California, but there was a mouse on my paycheck for 10 years. And that's crazy to me still. Yeah, she is. My grandma still. She is 95. I always wonder where Mickey Mouse went. Well, what do you mean? Mickey Mouse will never die, essentially. As long as people keep drawing him, keep modeling him. Oh, right, Neil, thanks. Yeah. I'm just too lazy to go in there and adjust it. Because I want it to be sitting, I want where it goes into the surface to go in straight. I don't want it to wrap around the backside, if that makes sense. So I want to keep it even across here. And that's okay if it goes into the model somewhat, because if I merge this for 3D printing, I'm going to make sure that there aren't any undercuts or backfills, holes in there. All right. The cryo freeze. Oh gosh. All right, let's turn to skin shade. All right, I'll have to block out his hair and his little mustachio. I think this is the, I'll have to ask Josh on this, but I think this is the bottom of his bottom lip, and it's just like pushed clear up, and yeah, so that'll take some doing to get that to do this. I'm gonna have to work at it. But I think it's funny, so I'm gonna see if I can pull it off. But all right. Scan his eyes. Yeah. Okay. I want to give him some eyelashes too. No, I think I might run them down like this. Oh. This is what happens sometimes when you get the lines too close together. They cross and make problems. Use a smaller brush, and usually that doesn't happen as much. Okay. Same thing. Same verse, same as the first. Second verse, same as the first. That's how it goes. Hey, Doomer. You mentioned in the past that the way to keep smooth models with no bumps is to work at low polys with dynamic subdiv, but I've never understood how one keeps any details with that workflow. So basically, yeah, you have to retopologize it and then subdivide it. That's the cleanest mesh you're going to get ever. So basically, if I were to take this guy into production, if I was going to 3D print him, I wouldn't need to go to that extra step. I'm keeping my workflow smooth enough that these details would remain and be just fine in 3D printing. But if I were to take him to production, then I would do my retopology and maybe even use creasing and things like that. But you can project the detail from your sculpted geometry to your high resolution geometry, and it will keep all those details. pretty nice that way. All right, something like that. I feel like his eyes break the rule of being closer together. Oops. Too far. I bet this, yeah, this has some weirdness going on inside the eye. Just push it in with this brush. Maybe the cloth brush. That's a better. And it can be a mess behind the eyeball. Nobody is really going to see it. So, I mean, you want to kind of keep it clean enough that it's going to work with what you're trying to do, but you don't need it to be super clean back there. Yeah, I loved if you like sculpted or stylized characters, clean stylized characters. I'd also suggest watching Easy Peasy with Paul Deasy. He's another sculptor on the live streams here, and he just blows me away with his ability to keep stuff clean. What's the best brush for creating organic creases? Just the either the Damien standard brush or this detail brush that I have. They're basically the same thing, very close. Along with maybe the pinch brush too. Sometimes if you're doing hard edges and you actually want super tight creases, you can use the actual creasing in ZBrush. Come on, get over here. I'm going to add, so see, this is how dense it is underneath this eye. And what I can do is I can turn Sculptris Pro back on, go lower in density, which is increases the density, and then turn the Z intensity down and just kind of sculpt along or smooth along here, and it will increase the density. It gives me more polys to work with, and then I can go back to pinch and pinch it tighter. Damn, standard brush is far too strong and it creates more of a knife cut. Just turn the Z intensity way down. Okay, let's do a few little, we're almost out of time here, but I want to give him some fake ambient occlusion. Just make him look more like the concept here. And this is just using my the airbrush, soft paintbrush is what I call it. Soft P brush. And a little tip for you guys, if you didn't know this, if you want to eyedrop color off of your concept here, you just need to hit Z or Z to make this ring appear. And as long as this ring is showing, then you can hover over your drawing and hold down C, like as in cat, and you can move around everywhere and find a color that you want. And then just let go. You don't have to click, you can just let go. So yeah, so you can do it. Why do you have 2% Z intensity? Honestly, the Z intensity on this color brush doesn't matter at all because it's just a vertex color brush. It doesn't have Z add or Z subtract turned on, so it doesn't affect the brush at all whatsoever. So I don't know why it doesn't, just doesn't. To color those lips. And also, you can smooth color by itself without affecting anything else if you want to. Whoops, I took that a little too far. Let's take it from here. So you can basically, if you hold down Shift, that's your smooth brush up here, and you can turn off Z add so it no longer affects the mesh as far as smoothing it out. And it will only affect if you have RGB turned on and RGB intensity, you can actually come across here and smooth out your color. So it's like blurring it into the neighboring colors. Works pretty well. Hey Brian, let's see, how long would you say it took you before you felt really proficient in the software? Probably 2 years. If I were to guess, maybe. Looks sad. Don't be sad. It's like, I think it's gonna boil down to the pupils and how much they're being covered. I love putting the eyes in because you can totally change what he's doing with just putting the eyes. Makes me laugh. Yeah, see, I need to bring those eyelids down and straight. They're so straight. And that's kind of why I like having lashes, because you can really get that eye shape in there with just the lashes first. And it's a lot easier to do than to move everything together. Kick them out like this. Then move the rest to match. Much easier. And the second best tip I can probably give you is don't rush. Whatever you do, it's not a race. if speed will come with experience. Nick, only in production. So if I'm going to actually build out an eyeball, that's when I worry about it being at the end of a sphere with a pole. But again, if I'm just going to be either A, 3D printing it, or B, just doing it like this for a render, I don't really pay attention to the building it out too much. Oops. Probably pick the eyeball. There we go. Feel like they need to be bigger though. Yeah, that makes me laugh. Studied game art at uni, and Shane's course taught me way more in a month than I learned in 3 years studying. Jeez. Hey, Neil, thank you so much, Longcat. I really appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Neil, would you mind snagging that? I like to. Neil's my assistant, you guys, if you didn't know. And I try, if I see nice words being flown in my direction, I like to snag them and put them on my website. Thank you so much. Made my day. Yeah, which is unfortunate, honestly, because it's, I mean, my course is nothing close to what you would pay at a university, not even close. Is it expensive? Yeah, but it's not, it's an investment, you know? And I don't know. I don't want to rant about it too much, but honestly, that's the reason I'm making that acceleration program, is because of that. I hate when schools, big box schools, take advantage of students and change up their curriculum just because students are asking for it, you know, and whether or not the schools have the skills to be, or even business teaching it, they try anyway just because they want the money. Of course, they're a business at the end of the day. Yeah, when I was going to school, they're closed now, but I went to the Art Institute of Seattle. And the best thing I got out of going to the Art Institute was networking. I met a lot of great people there. But as far as the instructors would go, there was nice instructors. They had good intentions, but their skills weren't there. We were learning the software along with the teachers because everything was so new at the time. And even teach a master's course on it. It's just a money grab. Oh goodness. That's what happened with my school. Lots of changes and transitions happened while we went there. So only really one instructor actually knew what he was talking about. Yeah. We went to the Art Institute of San Diego. Yep. They're the same institution. They just want to offer what people want to learn, right? And then they just find instructors, just any old instructor off the street that wants to do it, that has any kind of ability whatsoever. Yeah. You know, the thing that irritated me the most about that whole situation was there was an art institute at Salt Lake City, which is where I'm from, and I was going to teach there on the side, you know, because I wanted to be the guy that wasn't one of those kind of instructors, right? There was a couple of us from Avalanche that wanted to be that guy, that person that actually knew what they were talking about and could help the students out. But I couldn't teach there because I didn't have a bachelor's degree. And in order for a school to be accredited, basically set up to take student loans, you have to have your teachers have to have bachelor's degrees. And it doesn't matter in what. That's what's so messed up about it. It doesn't matter. but I wasn't qualified even though I had years of experience under my belt. They're just like, nope, you don't have a bachelor's, so you can't teach here. So I'm just like, all right, I'll just go make my own course then. See ya. Sorry, that's some of my. So in a way, I thank them for not letting me teach there. All right, you go. Yeah, that's true, Johnny. I went to a 4-year art college and it was an amazing experience. Something I miss those days. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to diss on colleges and stuff like that, because there are genuinely schools out there that do have the instructors that aren't after that cash grab. And I can proudly say the University of Utah is one of those. They have a really nice computer animation, computer graphics, computer programming, game programming thing. And I know a lot of the instructors up there, and I go up there and speak now and then. And yeah, it's rare, but they're out there. Do your research. Ask for their placement, like how many students they actually place when they graduate. That's a big one. Like the Noman School, I mean, it's expensive, but I think they have like close to 100% placement rate. So you get what you pay for, kind of a thing, you know? His neck a little bit bigger. And I need to wrap this up, you guys. I am past due. All right, still need to get his hair and a shirt, and I need to fix his eyes. They're too long, like too wide. Now that I have the pupil in there, I can see that. No, they should be about this long. So, all right, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, this guy's a lot of fun. So thanks to Josh Black for being an amazing artist, amazing designer. Yeah, and as always, I teach an online course. It's called the 3D Character Workshop. So if you want to learn how to make stylized characters like this, feel free to check out that information. It's over at 3D Character Workshop, right above my head. 3D Character Workshop, and I give away my user interface and my brushes for ZBrush over there as well. You can find those, and they're the exact same brushes that I use. So yeah, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you same time next Monday. Take care, guys. Happy sculpting. All right. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.